children. Very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the series of Modern Indian History. And today we are going to discuss about the rebellion of 1857. This is fifth chapter of your history book. In this session, we go to see about the revolt of 1857 in India. The Indian Rebellion of 1857 was a major but ultimately unsuccessful uprising in India between 1857 to 1858 against the rule of British East India Company. The event is known by many names, including the Sepoy Mutiny, the Indian Mutiny, the Great Rebellion, the Revolt of 1857, and also India's first war for independence. In this chapter, we discuss about so many things like causes of rebellion, uh, the impact of this rebellion, and so many things. So, let's start the chapter. By 1857, British had established colonial domination over a major part of India through arbitrary method of annexation and harsh economic policies. The kings, queens, peasants, landlords, tribals, and soldiers were all affected in different ways. So, they were the reason, or they were the main reason for the rebellion of 1857. Let's know about the causes of the rebellion. By the mid 18th century, Nawabs and Rajas had lost their power. Instead, British residents had been stationed in courts with the freedom of rulers reduced their armed forces, disbanded their revenues and territories forcibly taken away. Many rulers tried to negotiate with the company to protect their interest. Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi wanted the company to recognize her adopted son as the heir to the kingdom. Nana Sahib, the adopted son of Peshwa Bajirao II, pleaded that he be given his father's pension when the latter died. However, all these pleas were turned down by the company. The company then annexed Awadh. The British accused the ruler Wajid Ali Shah of uh, maladministration and misgovernance. In 1801, a subsidiary alliance was imposed on Awadh, and in 1856 it was taken over. As well as in 1849, Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family would be shifted out of Red Fort and given another place to live in. As well as in 1856, Governor General Lord Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last Mughal king. After his death, none of his sons would be recognized as emperor. They would be only called princes. So these were the things or the cause for the rebellion of these rulers or the kings. Let's discuss about the peasants and the landlords, why they became the rebellion. Many chiefs and landlords rebelled as the British land revenue policies robbed them of their power and privileges. Among those who rebelled were the polygarchs, or also called landlords. The peasants revolt frequently because of excessive tax demand under the new land revenue system. Overcrowding of land because of renovation of handicraft, exploitation by moneylenders, and rural poverty also forced people to revolt. So, all these are the things or the cause for the peasants and the landlords to become an became a rebellion. Now, the next important cause was the sepoys. The Indian sepoys were discounted regarding their pay, allowances, and condition of service. So, moreover, the new rules violated their religion sensitivities and beliefs. They resented British regulation banning beards and use of caste mark and the replacement of turbans with leather caps. The sepoys also resented having to travel beyond India's frontiers in violation of social taboos. To fight war for the British, the sepoys mutinied in 1806 at Vellore, at Barakpur in 1824 and 1844 on the question of salaries. Thus, mutinies were put down with soft force, but disaffection was so widespread that the British anticipated a major revolt from them soon. So, all these are the cause or the reasons of the sepoys for they became the rebellion of 1857. Now, the next important cause of the rebellion was the laws and the response to reforms. In my next class, I will discuss about it. Okay, thank you.